Should we watch this? Do all killers think the same? I kind of want to watch that.
I did immediately regret it in a sense.
I would like to watch this. Oh.
Where I called my mom and I apologized to her and I said, I'm so sorry, I think I killed your husband.
What?
And then there was also the sense of like,
Damn, okay.
like, oh my gosh, I don't have to keep looking over my shoulders anymore. I don't have to live in this fear that he's gonna actually come after me because it already happened.
I need context.
I would kill them again. 3, 2, 1, go.
What?
Thomas Ogden was a beautiful person, and he was my friend, and what happened was an accident, and I would give anything to have him back. My name's Forrest, and I accidentally shot and killed my best friend when I was 23 years old. I felt like a shattered person most of my life, and there are still shards missing, but I just spent the last 5 years writing a very painful memoir. It gave me an opportunity to visit a lot of past trauma. I feel in a strong space to be a support for other survivors and create positivity in the world.
All my killing has been in the time of war, so I agree with what I've done. Would I do it again? I would, because if I didn't kill that individual, they would have killed me or somebody else. I was a sniper, so I'm looking after a platoon of 20, 30 guys, sometimes as small as 6 guys. But I don't strongly agree with it because of the after effects, like what it did to me mentally. You know, I was the first person I killed, I was 18, and I didn't stop until I was almost 25. So I don't regret any of it. I don't have any bad feelings towards those individuals that I did kill. They were just protecting their homeland just as much as I would too. So I would do it again to save my life or somebody else's life.
I work in healthcare. What I do is I manage life support. So I'm the guy that pulls the plug on just about everybody. So I come from a very different perspective. I have to do that for...
We're at 90K! Oh my God, we gotta celebrate. We gotta celebrate. We're not gonna celebrate today. We're gonna celebrate. I'm gonna think about something. We gotta have a celebration stream. Oh my goodness, we got 90K.
babies all the way to people at the end of their lives. I've been doing this for over a dozen years now, so I'm like, okay, I've come to terms with what the job is. So, yeah.
The crime and how it happened, it was not, I didn't go out to kill this person. And now understanding the impact that the crime had, not only on me, but the family of that person. That was a human being that I killed over some drugs, right? And his children, his family is living still in the absence of this person. It was December the 24th, Christmas Eve night.
Jesus.
Me and a couple of my friends were hanging out. This particular car came up, and the passenger in the car said, hey, I want to buy some drugs from you. So I told one of my friends, I'm like, he's known to be this person that would come through the community and ask for $100 worth of drugs, but he would never ask for money. And the guy did exactly what I said. He knocked the drugs out of my friend's hand, grabbed his arm, and started speeding off. And my reaction at that time was I pulled out the gun and I started shooting into the car to get him to release my friend. And days later, we heard that the bullet that I shot into the car actually killed him. To that day, I will never forget December the 24th, when that happened, the day before Christmas.
I would 100% do what I had to do over again because the guy was a serial perpetrator. He was after so many women. If he killed me, he would have went after my mom, all my family, my nieces, my nephews, every one of us, until he literally got what he wanted. I'm Tara Newell. I killed my attacker, Dirty John Meehan, in self-defense. I think it was really interesting how there was one person here who had experienced prison reform, because to me, my attacker would have been in there if I hadn't killed him in self-defense. And it's really interesting to hear about how there are people in there who are able to rehabilitate.
What?
I immediately regretted it. 3, 2, 1, go.
Why do I strongly
Strong, yeah.
disagree?
Yeah.
Like I said, I was a young kid. I was 18. The first
Thank you
guy
for
I
the
killed
gift.
was,
I appreciate
with
you.
a 50 cal like machine
Give me a second. Give me a second.
gun. I was expecting it to be like the movies where you have this like feeling of when you kill someone, and it wasn't there. I didn't really feel anything. It wasn't until like that night I had this weird dream. The guy who I shot
Pum,
became
pum,
the ceiling
yeah.
fan in my room. His arms and
Gotta
legs
get
were
it.
the
Extra
blades.
30.
His head was the center of the fan, and I watched him spin faster and faster until he tore apart and covered me in what he used to be, what was left of him. But no, I didn't feel anything. There was nothing like to feel. I knew that was the beginning of something that I was probably going to have to do for a while. No attachment at the time.
I can agree with you on that. I mean, identify with that because my first couple of years inside of prison, I detached from it completely. When people would mention his name, I would like, don't see him as a human being. And that was very insensitive when I look back at it now, right? But I look and say that that was a way of me coping with the situation at that time.
I did immediately regret it in a sense where I called my mom and I apologized to her and I said, I'm so sorry, I think I killed your husband. So there was that, but then there was also the sense of like, oh my gosh, I don't have to keep looking over my shoulders anymore. I don't have to live in this fear that he's gonna actually come after me because it already happened.
Sometimes family members don't agree with the decision.
Muy.
And that decision
Bien.
is sometimes taken away from them. Being called every name in the book as I'm walking in there. But if they just don't agree, and then I'm like, I just have to go do this now, you know?
He
it
on my
doesn't
ass, but he not getting the
feel
tuckies.
good, or like, I'm not necessarily agreeing with it. So I'm like, I disagree, yeah.
The level of heartbreak that I felt immediately after that gunshot was indescribable. And I don't know if any of you have saw Red before, right? I actually saw Red.
Into the mic? Wait. I wasn't even in the mic, but you know what?
And it was the most horrific thing I've ever seen, experienced, witnessed, felt in my life. I got charged with first-degree murder that night, and I was looking at doing 35 to life here in California. I couldn't even process that. There was just so much a combination of
Malik.
and grief
Malik.
immediately.
I am
Please.
desensitized to death. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm not gonna lie. That woman, that blonde-haired woman right there, we need to watch out for her. Did y'all see her take 2 steps over to agree? She was about to go to fucking strongly agree, and she realized everybody went to strongly disagree, so she went back to somewhat agree. She lied.
Why is that?
Yeah, why is
I do a lot of volunteer work, and the amount of people who are dying from drug overdoses and suicides right now in the arena of trauma, it's becoming difficult for me to feel anything anymore with the amount of people that we're losing that we don't have to.
For me, it was almost like playing God, you
Oh,
know?
yeah?
I determined
yeah?
the time, place, when I'm gonna take that person off this
Bro,
planet.
look at her.
And it put things into perspective for me too, that I could be gone at any certain time. Like when you have to pull it, you know, you don't know when that card is gonna be pulled, so I've learned to value it more and know that it's very fragile.
Hold on. Can we get a free SML for the culture? Say that I'm the person you're the most comfortable with and it's not mellow. Write it down.
All very frail, and to not feel anything towards killing someone would probably be more devastating to me than actually taking the life. It's not feeling.
Hold on, I need to clarify something.
Yeah.
I just want to be very clear that being desensitized in no way means that I don't value life.
Oh, yeah.
It's just difficult to
Manage the
feel the mourning over and
more
over
and
again.
more over and over again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I agree with you. Like there will be certain stories that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened.
I mean,
When
I didn't have
someone
to
just
kill
tells
somebody
me,
to
like,
know.
Oh, that person died of a heart attack. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, it just like
See how he's
there's
not
no
writing?
traumatic
I'm almost done with my
incident
tackle.
with that. So I'm
tackle,
like,
short tackle.
my brain just disassociates, and it's like, okay, oh, they died naturally. So
And
I don't like
from
that.
where I come from, like
I'm
I
gonna
get
eat
to
this
know a
for-
lot of these people. If I don't get to know them, I get to know their family members like very intimately. It's not immediate, like oh, they're coming in and they're gonna go. No, it's like weeks, months. I've had somebody like their 5-year-old son, and he was in the room, and I'm like, I gotta take your mom away now. And it's like after that, I'm like, oh my god, I'll go call my mom or I go call my dad. It's like it's really heavy, but I feel like you said, like a sense of maximization of like. I don't know when my number is going to be called, because even if I'm working in the emergency room, we've worked on somebody for 2 hours, and they're like, we really can't do anything anymore. And I'm like, just like that, gone. I remember this one patient, it was very much like nobody was there. They just found him on the street. Didn't even have a
They're gonna
wall.
come back.
He was clinically dead, brain-wise, so we couldn't really do anything anymore. Me, the nurse, and the doctor
Excuse me.
just stayed in that room until
Hi, Tufo,
his
welcome.
heart rate left, because we didn't want to see him leave by himself. That was
Yeah.
one of the most sobering moments too. It's like, as much as it was nice for us to do that, I just don't want strangers around me, seeing me off.
I think for me as a teenager, selling drugs, just hanging in the streets, just living a lifestyle that I didn't care if I killed someone. I was very desensitized. I didn't care. I didn't feel no remorse for it. And this was part of my own personal development. I needed to find a way to attach to that. So I started doing this hospice training inside of one of the prisons by listening to these individuals tell their story and the regrets that they were living with in their process of transitioning. It gave me a sense of a value of life now, and it shifted my mindset as this teenager who was very callous towards life at that time.
I've taken care of people, they're being on life support. They'll hang on for like a very long time till one specific person sometimes just visits them. And then I'm like, I can't explain that. I could take them off, and their heart rate will keep going and going and going.
One of the guys I was working with in the prison, he wanted to see his sister. This dude held on.
You guys scared
until,
Tufo
like,
away.
his
I'm
sister
so
walked
sad.
into the room,
Tufo!
and he was like
Come
not
back.
consciously, but like she spoke to him and she started like talking to him, and you started seeing him move. And
I'm
then
full.
soon as she was like, I'm leaving, and like within minutes, this guy like transitioned.
yeah, with my situation, I made him brain dead, and so he was in the hospital. And then when they pulled the plug on him, my mom literally had to tell him it's okay to go now, and then he left.
What?
Some weird things about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're more than just our brain, right?
We're spirits living in flesh, man. That's all.
I did not scare Tufo.
I am
you guys.
also a victim. 3, 2, 1, go.
That bitch, bro, I'm telling y'all, that woman with the blonde hair, be afraid of her, okay? Be afraid of her. Y'all see her? She just said, I would kill again. I'm desensitized to death. I'm this, I'm that. But she still sees
I
herself.
feel weird,
I'm gonna try to single you out.
but I feel like I have to be over here
She a
because
killer.
the guy came after me. I was in a parking garage. I was just trying to go to the Jason Aldean concert that night. He started attacking me, stabbing me, and I fought back and I won. So I didn't ask for any of that. I honestly hated the guy, and I wished he would be dead, but I never wanted to unalive or take someone's life.
My first couple years.
I wanna
in
know
prison,
how exactly
I
she
saw
did it.
myself as the victim, right? And that was again a way of me coping. As I continued to do some interpersonal work, I realized that I was not a victim, that I still made a choice in the crime that I committed, right? But I
Bro,
just
she
wanted to
knows
share
that,
that.
bro.
Like I wanted to run over there, but I'm in this place of healing and reconciliation, and I had to like move away from the victimization mindset and take ownership for the decision that I
Because you
actually-
could have, I mean, I that's why I want to know exactly like what happened and how we went down so I could comment on it. But based on what I'm hearing, like I feel like I always say this, like, if somebody try to do anything to you, I'm aiming for your kneecap first. With anything, I am gonna try to hit you in a way where you either gonna be handicapped or something before I ever even think of taking a life, because I don't want to have that in my brain. So it's like, you went for the head first and made that man brain dead. Like, I'm not saying, like, you were in a wrong for defending yourself, but at the end of the day, you chose to go exactly, you chose to go with death first. You just said you wish that that man was dead, and you acted upon it. You didn't try to, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? So
Pulled the trigger, committed the crime, unfortunately.
I mean, at
someone
least he's
died, and I
honest,
have
this
to
guy.
take that on because that's part of my own personal growth and development. I remember on a Friday night, 3 years into my incarceration, I remember laying in my bed watching this show called Dateline, and for the first time, I heard a mother really expressing her loss for the loss of her loved one, and that was that moment in my life where I connected with that. I'm like, yo, I did the same thing, and I went into a fetus position and I started praying.
If a person is trying to kill me, why should I care about their life? It has nothing to do with their life, because at the end of the day, I tell you guys this, I put myself first. So in a way, I don't care how much harm you're gonna wish upon me. Myself, I know what I can handle. Like, you probably can handle, just going in, taking somebody's life. No matter what the situation is for me, I know that for me to go and be like, damn, I gotta go for the headshot, or like, yeah, like, that's the first thought. Like, I can't do that. I just always have to know that I did the best that I could, and that was my last resort. Like, off rip, I don't think, like, I'm about to kill this person. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, she went, the way she's talking, I feel like she went straight from, I'm gonna kill this nigga. Like, it's a lot of shit that's happened to me in my life that, I never really thought, like, I'm gonna kill this person for trying to kill me. You know, you just have to understand what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that I wouldn't have to do that if I need to. It's just, all right, okay, good. Snake understands it, so that's fine. Yeah, like, she went
And all I
straight for
kept
the head.
hearing
Like,
in my hearing this voice saying, I have forgiven you. You have to ask Gary, the guy that you killed, to forgive you. And in that process, this is where I began. I remember saying, Gary, would you forgive me? And I literally felt like in that moment, he forgave me, and I heard it. And it's almost like a weight was lifted off of me. And that's when I began this cleansing, this process of healing and moving forward and finding a purpose and finding my voice and all of that particular night inside of that prison when I surrendered to it.
No, I don't feel like I'm a victim for anything. Like, I chose that path.
Yeah,
Started
that
off
nigga-
wanting to be a Navy SEAL when I was like in elementary school. My mom helped me make my first ghillie suit when I was in the 6th grade. Like, it's
I don't
something
even
I've
know what
always
that is.
wanted
What
to
is
do,
that?
and I knew it came with that, which was more than likely having to kill someone, especially in the
Bro, I'm
time
not
of
gonna lie,
war.
like, self-defense or not, like, it's eating at you. Like, you took a life. And then it's not even, forget the person that did the stuff. It's all the people that are around that person that I'm just thinking, like, that person had kids. I know it's his decision to do that to someone, but, like, the kids are gonna not, like, me, I know me. I'm an overthinker, and I feel guilty. Like, I would feel guilty. Like, I would feel guilty. That's someone that you're never gonna see again. You don't even know where they go. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't really want that as my first choice of defending myself.
Yeah, I'm not a victim, but the only thing I would say is, like, they don't really prepare us into doing the job that we do.
Oh,
They,
yeah,
they do
even
the day-to-day,
nurses.
oh, this is what you do, this is what you try.
Yeah,
and all
they
that
don't.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then now you're like, oh, by the way, the doctor wrote the order. Go take him off, and
Yeah.
now I gotta walk in, or like if it's a baby, they're still holding them in their hands and stuff.
Yeah, and
And,
then
like,
they're
go take
screaming. Yeah.
them off, and so I never really thought about it. Like, nobody's like talked to me or anything. Like, by the way, this is where you're gonna feel afterwards, or like when you get
Yeah.
home after you clock out and everything like that.
Yeah, we didn't have a handbook.
I
on
don't
that
really
either.
count that
Like,
man, though.
yeah,
This
they
man,
teach-
I don't really count him. I don't think he should be, like, considered a killer. Like, this one, yeah. This one, yeah. This one, yeah. Him, no. This is like a profession. Like, he didn't really, I don't think he really, you know what I mean? Black Crosses, thank you for the resub. Hello, sister. Hi. Hi. How you doing? Yeah, I'm tell you. Yeah, he's just doing his job too. But this is a hospital setting. I don't think he went into the job wanting to do that. He knew what was expected, he did it. I feel like the way he is, if he knew that this, like, exactly how it was gonna go down, I don't think he would sign up for this job. But he probably just stayed just to stay. But I don't count him. I don't know. Like, all the others, I can see where the killer part's coming in, but him, I don't see it. It's like it says a job, you're taking a machine, you're turning off a machine. What does he do? He's like a respiratory person. Like, when you put the people on the ventilators and stuff, and then when they're like, oh, it's time to pull the plug, he's the one that pulls the plug. But it's like, I don't count him as that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think of him as a killer. Like, I don't see him as a killer. He didn't have the intention to kill the people. Like, this one knew it was him or whatever. This one, he said it was an accident. Okay, but he's still kind of like, this one pulled the trigger, yeah. But I don't feel like he should be in this video. Like, I know him pulling the plug ended up with the person dying, but it's not him. Like, if someone got into a car accident and they become brain dead and the family's like, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, it's time to pull the plug and somebody has to pull it and it's him that pulls it. I don't think it's him. I don't think it's his fault. I don't think he should be there. I don't.
You how to kill, but there's no
How to process.
how to process it.
I have profited from the murder.
Dear
3,
Lord. She's
2,
sure. Look at her.
1, go.
Make me feel bad about this.
Someone called murder.
That word's kind of
Strong, yeah.
Blood money.
Why was she
I
smirking?
don't like that word. I don't like it
All
either.
right, I don't think it applies universally,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, she looked like she's smiling.
Homicide is a universal term. As far as profiting from any part of my story, no. I've spent the last 5 years struggling to write and publish a book, and I've spent about 80 G's on it and made about 4,000. And that's not why I did it. I did it because I want to help people, but I don't think that it's very common for people to profit off of.
I'm not gonna lie, you profited. You made that book, you made 4,000. That's profit right there. Well, he spent 8,000 and he made 4,000. Not really profited, but you still made money.
Recovery from stuff, right? Well, maybe it
He's
is.
not
I
a
don't
killer
know.
by choice. I don't
I
think
guess
he's
I'll
a
go over
killer.
here then. My attacker, my show got made into a podcast called Dirty John, and then it got made into a documentary, a TV show on Bravo, and now on Netflix. And
What?
so I felt like I've been exploited in a sense because I did not make anything off of the podcast. Although people think I profited off my story, I did not.
But also, and you get paid to take his life.
No, not at all.
Okay, so if you profited off of if I profit off of anything, it's my hard work afterwards.
Yeah.
It's my hard work to share and be of service.
What? Did he? Did he? Did he just say him explaining the story is his hard work and he heard that you took your best friend's life and you're saying explaining the story is your hard work? Hold on.
I did not.
But also, and you get paid to take his life.
No, not at all.
Okay, so if you profited off of if I profit off of anything, it's my hard work afterwards.
Yeah.
It's my hard work to share and be of service. So, no, you didn't. People hate profit sometimes. They just
Yeah.
hate you just because you made money.
Yeah.
For me, as a speaker and a trainer, I struggled with that for a long time, right? You know, I committed this crime, and yes, I did all of the work that I have done to become the man that I am today. But then I don't sleep at night, right, knowing that I've made this bag of money or whatever. Any money I get, I want to be able to live comfortable. It's not about getting something in luxury. How could I help some young person? So we do the nonprofit work. But my 5-year goal now, or 10-year goal, is to use whatever profit I make is to create a foundation in honor of Gary. Going back to that promise I made to him almost 30 years ago inside of a prison cell.
It initially started as me writing a journal. My dad suggested I did that. I was going through a hard time, self-medicating and contemplating some bad decisions. Started off as that, and it got picked up by a major book publishing company, and it went on to become essentially like an autobiography of that time in. After accomplishing that, I went on to what I do currently, which is write, novels and stuff like that, not based on my life because I did feel a certain way about it, of profiting from killing, I get what you're saying too. All the work that you put in there after, that's on you, but I also see it as, well, I killed all these guys and I wrote a book about it and profited from it.
Were you an E4 or E5?
E5, yeah.
That's all the money you made off it.
Right?
Once again, complex issue that gets lumped together. If somebody has money, they must be doing something for
bad,
profit.
yeah.
And I think where an answer is, do we follow purpose or do we follow the money?
Bro, they're not understanding
It's
this.
gonna go away.
I have whatever that word, however you fuck you said, from the murder. It means pretty much, did you make money? Okay, is there money that you made because of the murder? And the answer is yes. And all these niggas should be on strongly agree. They all should be on they agree because you made money. If you didn't, the money you're making, that little extra 4,000 you made, if you did not kill that man, you would not have made it. Okay, all that I don't understand what is hard.
It's
Like,
not gonna matter. What's
Often-
gonna matter when I die is what I did. Am I
Exactly.
proud of myself for
Yeah.
the things that I did?
I often
You
see
made the
more like
money.
as an amplifier for what people can do, what reach they can do.
Yeah, what you can make impact on now, like
Yeah.
knowing like when I go speak to young people today about gun violence and about my story, the only way they can get out of a situation is if I have money,
Yeah.
right? That I can create a safe space for them to go after school. So I have to make
okay, and
some
nothing
money
is okay, and nothing
to
is
be
wrong.
able to.
Bro, nobody's saying it's wrong that you're making the money. Like, what, you can go ahead and tell your story. Sometimes that's how people cope, but you're not gonna sit there and tell me like you didn't make money because of the thing. You made money because of the thing. Don't piss me off. Like, I understand him perfectly. You're making a foundation because you want to spread awareness. But why did you make that foundation? If you did not kill that man, would you have thought about making the fucking foundation? No, you would not have. Like, what? It was so hard. No, you already killed somebody. Nobody's gonna look at you. And anyway, I wonder if he sent any of that money to that dude's family. I doubt he did.
Do that. You know
I
what
doubt
mean?
he
I
did.
don't want to make a bunch of money and I'm living here and then I walk into the community and say, hey, young kids, put the guns down, prison, say no to prison. And then I drive away in this nice car and forget about them, right? So that's where I'm at, like, purpose
Bro,
for me
I get
is
what
about
you're
how do I
saying,
make
bro, but
impact
you
in the
made
lives
money,
of the
bro.
people that I serve.
Taking a life was part of God's plan for me.
I don't know. I don't think so.
3, 2, 1, go.
This bitch is a killer.
I'm unclear with that one. That's why I'm like this.
You're on the other side.
I was thinking exactly
I
where I'm
wouldn't
at, what
be
he's
who I
at.
am today, to be able to have the experience that I've had and become who I've become without taking
Nigga
life.
was killing from
I learned my
18 to
lesson
25.
after all the killing. My last deployment dropped over 30 guys, 33 people, and who
I need
knows how many
water.
before that. But what I had to get through and overcome to stand here today far exceeded anything I've done in the military. Being emotionally somewhat strong and what I've had to overcome. There's been a lot of dark nights where didn't think I was gonna be here.
Bro, they all should have stayed
I'm like
neutral,
this.
bro. I don't-
Yeah, I know what you mean though, yeah.
I don't want it to be perceived to be insensitive about the
Dog.
victim.
Yeah.
Right? But I know on this part of me, I look at my friends who I grew up with at 19 years old, and I did 22 years in prison, and when I came back home, they were at the same spot under the same tree we sold drugs at. But then if over here, I think about the Gold Dingers family, because their son is like, oh, God destined my brother or my son to die. You know what I mean? So
What?
But if you believe in God,
Who said that? I'm not gonna lie, but you take my. I don't think that's ever gonna come out. What? What is this video, bro? Why did I click this?
then that would be he already knew that before you
I
were
get
born,
that part.
you
I
know?
mean, I'm a spiritual man,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
but I'm
same.
just like, I don't want it to, it's just, that's my dilemma when it comes to
there's
it.
Absolutely.
I don't think that he's letting some kid be blown apart in Iraq because he's busy helping me look for a parking space.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I don't think that the realm of the spirit is
Yes.
as concerned with human affairs. I think that the sun rises and sets for a reason.
Yeah.
It rockets through space at 40,000 miles an hour with a bunch of rocks around it for a reason.
Like, get to
and
the point.
animals have instinct for a reason, and I think human beings,
Free
it's a
will.
little
Free
different.
will.
Free
and I
will.
think
Yeah.
things just happen sometimes. There doesn't have to be meaning or a plan.
But then it's hard for a person who lost a loved one to wrap that. For me, my homicide is completely different than
I'm
most
not
of
gonna lie,
you
they
in this
lost me
room.
completely with
Is
this story.
someone died by me pulling this trigger. And I can't say it was in God's plan.
I pulled the trigger too. And I
Yeah.
thought the gun was empty. And I still can't wrap my head around a stupid decision like that. Even though that it malfunctioned and acted unloaded, had I done all the right things, the 4 safety rules, it never would have happened. And I was nervous coming here because I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. And I had no intent at all. There's no way I would have as soon put it to my head or at the floor or whatever. And I can't remember ever doing that before or after. And it was a mistake.
I think for me, it was part of my dharma. I'm a little bit more spiritual, so I
Bitch.
think it was my life's purpose, to be honest.
What?
Because of what I do today, whenever I speak, I always have people contact me and say that they left an abusive relationship or what I shared helped them get out of their attack.
Okay, and you could have done that without fully killing the man. The man didn't even have to need. Okay, I don't know what happened with her. So her story, I'm gonna go home. I'm already home. After the stream, I'm gonna go watch exactly what happened so I can understand her better. But as of right now, a person didn't really need to die for people to come to you and say, I just left this abusive relationship and you helped me a lot. You motivated me to. Yeah, they could have still said that even if he was in jail, they would have still came to you calling you a strong woman. So I don't know if telling you that whatever spirituality that you have that's telling you that this was God's plan for you to kill this man and have people come to you and see you as a savior or something. I don't think that her story pretty much, she said she was out and this guy's a serial attacker and he attacked her and she pretty much went for the kill because she hated him anyway and he was brain dead and she was, he died. So like her first choice was already to kill the nigga. So it's to me, I'm just like, bro, like, I don't know. And all of her answers are like, literally she's agreeing with everything. Like, would she do it again? Absolutely. Strongly agree. Everything. And she's smirking. She's smiling. And she just said that was her God's plan. Like, I've seen how many people get out of abusive relationship without taking a life? And people still come to them saying, you're strong. You motivated me. You inspired me. Like, I don't think the man dying is like, oh yeah, she said she got stabbed by the guy. That too.
Sharing your story helps other people. And
Yeah, it could have been anything.
Call it transparency transports people.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like really honest about who I am, because there's someone else, not just in a physical prison, but an emotional, mental prison. And by hearing your story, hearing all of our stories, it helps transport them to another space of showing that I can't escape this particular prison.
After having this discussion, Lester, choose a side.
Really?
Can't make you.
This
I'm
is an
just gonna say, I don't think it's fair to make you choose a side. You believe what you believe.
I'm gonna stand just a little bit over here. Please, like respectful.
I really like what you did, man, because we move in seconds and inches.
Yeah.
We measure progress in like
Yeah, I'm
miles
right
and
here.
years,
That was kind of a lot.
What's up?
This episode was just sort of intense, and I think I need a little time to debrief now.
What is this? This is an ad?
Life's got you down bad, huh?
Yeah, just a little, sometimes I need a big hug or...
To help you explode that.
Wait, hold.
Or enough
I'm not gonna lie, the way I did. hate these niggas.
Resources for me to heal. 3, 2, 1, go.
When I was in the military, it was like looked down upon to go seek mental help or anything. Dude, you'd get kicked off the team, you know, in a heartbeat. I don't want a guy who's soft watching my back, you know, or what I perceived at the time to
Perceived at
be
the time,
soft.
yeah.
After each deployment, our therapist was like a
Hold
18.
on. I don't think it's fake because she said that the blonde girl, whatever, she said that her story was turned into a documentary, something about Dirty John or something. I'm gonna find it. I don't think the video is fake. I don't think those people are fake. But that little segment that they have,
Cooler
that was the
truck
stupidest
full
thing
of
I've ever seen.
Kegs of beer and more beer. And 12 hours ago, I just took a life, 21 years old, at a strip club in Atlanta, drinking, you know, till my eyes pop out to cope. We would talk to like a psychiatrist, but we were encouraged to write down, you know, I didn't have this emotion, I didn't see this, so we could get home early to see our family. But 2 or 3 years ago, I decided to actually to talk to someone and figure out why I was the way I was, because I wanted to change. I didn't like being, everywhere I went, you know, I'm looking at everyone and it's gonna sound so bad, but I was polite to everybody who I met, but I always in the back of my mind had a plan to kill them, just in case the situation presented itself. If something went south, I've already mapped out and planned for 3 different scenarios how I would kill this person. And I was comfortable being in that state of mind because it kept that
Shamoma, hi, welcome.
protection, you know, that wall up. But it gets tiring after a while to always be that way. You know,
For me, I look at this, right? I want to run over here to the strongly disagree. It's almost because of the length of your sentence, and you, like I was serving life, I didn't become eligible for most of the classes in prison until I came down to my last 3 years in prison, right? Now I have to run back over here to strongly agree. After being a person who's been released from prison, I've
I'm
learned
telling you,
these
she stays
different
smiling.
things
This
that
woman
now help
is-
me to cope with all of the stuff that comes with me living inside of a prison, not only being a person who took someone's life, but seeing other individuals get killed inside of the prison, right? You see people get stabbed in prison over some of the simplest things. No one would come and talk to you about, like, was that triggering for you? How did you saw this person blood spill out over the concrete? Nothing, right? This is why I challenge the prison system and anyone who works in that prison environment to create more mental health services for those in prison, because yes, that person may have committed a violent crime, but we don't know their story.
I'm like that with the military, man.
Yeah.
There's not enough, in my opinion.
The
It's
VA
not encouraged enough, yeah.
The VA helped me somewhat, right? I'm not going to say the VA didn't help. But when I was suicidal, I didn't call the VA helpline because I didn't want to sit here and fill out a strongly agree and disagree form and wait in a waiting room. And I called another brother, and he sent me to a program called Save a Warrior, and I experienced something, it might sound weird, called initiation there. The participant faces their own death, and they receive a transitional object. And something about that changed my psyche, and something clicked.
I still have that shake
And we
looking
did
at
stuff
me.
like
I'm
the ceremony
pissed.
for
Why
the
did I
dead
buy
day, where
this?
we write the names of the people we've lost and the people we've killed, and we get to cry, like feel and process and become human again, because war
Does that work?
can break us, and prison can break us and make us incomplete and not human. And when we use different modalities to place that humanity back together, then we can have community, right? And community is the antidote to a lot of human suffering.
Yes.
I wrote a 12-step program for vets and first responders called SPARTA, Suicide Prevention and Resilience Training Anonymous. We meet once a week. And I used to think there wasn't enough resources, and the more I get involved, it's not that the help isn't needed, it's that there's abundant ability to create resources, right? And once we break that, we start to be the creator of it, we create the small nonprofit that serves the area. It's like the Matrix fails, you know?
Yeah.
That was long, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Well, I have to apologize for like chuckling when you said that part, because I was like, oh wait, I have a plan to kill people too, unfortunately. And then I used humor as my trauma response sometimes. So I strongly agree that I have the resources and the tools I need, because I'm gonna forever be on my healing journey, and I'm always gonna look for them and find them. However, talk therapy, I don't think is very beneficial to a lot of people. I think that a lot of therapists need to learn about the nervous system, because a lot of what we went through, we had to use our fight response. So I had to learn how to calm my nervous system to get to homeostasis, to the baseline.
It's like, as a person of color, it's like growing up, like as an immigrant, it's more like it is what it is. When you like things happen to you, it's like
Well, you're
you
not
don't really
even
like, oh
supposed
yeah,
to
go
be
see your
here.
therapist or anything like that. Especially working through the pandemic, I have never seen like that much death
I mean,
in my whole life, and I've been doing this for, at the time, like 10 years. And this was before the vaccine, and I'm like, I don't see the end of this tunnel yet. For me to quit the job would mean other people would die. And for me to continue this job, meaning I would die. And then that was the first time I'm like, I really don't know what to do right here. And that's the first time I'm like, wait, there's this thing called therapist. Maybe I should go talk to one. I wish it was more readily available and accepted at the same time, because none of my friends go and see their therapist. And I can completely tell them, like, you wouldn't have certain amount of issues if you just kind of worked on yourself in a different way. Or maybe not therapist, but like a different way, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
a
like
spiritual
coaching
healer
or
something.
Right, right here too. Again, I want to run over here. Right, went in prison at 19, walked out. I was 41, into a completely different world. Right.
Wow.
So now, like my organization, Path to Redemption, is that I want to provide that service. Like, how do you cope with when you walk into a grocery store
She went
after
to
20
jail
years
at 19
and
and
you
came
walk
out
in the
41.
self-serving line, you got to swipe that card and you don't know how, or you walk through a line and it beeps, right? And you thinking that is going to be tackled by the police because they think you're stealing something, right? And this is why, like, you and I, individuals, can create that.
You're gonna be made.
I'm running over.
All right, so there is not by any means enough space to talk about, like, I was a foster kid, right? So I got raised in poverty and abuse and negative relationships. So what did I do when I grew up? I created poverty and I created negative relationships, right? And that type of a wound, it's such a
What?
cultural taboo that there's not a space
why did you
to
just
talk
mention
about
Tori
that
just
and
now,
the
bro?
impacts, and then what do we do?
So how
and where
old
do
is
we
Tori
go
right now?
From there, so I'm,
So come on back over here. You got me feeling kind of. I was saying I wanted to do it, right? But I think that's important, man.
and everybody in this circle is a wounded healer and also a servant leader, right? So when we see a gap in something that's needed, it's not just us. So
Damn.
that's where a tremendous opportunity is to create and be of service to other people like us.
I would say it was dope talking to y'all, like learning the different
African
angles
parents, by the way?
of,
Jesus.
because I was kind of like skirmish about that title killer, but listening